It's about 10:40 p.m. West Coast time on Monday, July 7th. That comment is on a video about what happened in Los Angeles today, where 9 federal law enforcement agencies and 2 local law enforcement agencies descended on MacArthur Park, fully expecting an all-out battle in Los Angeles, fully expecting an all-out battle with MS-13, and nobody showed up. Is this an attempt to incite something and declare martial law? Just saying. So a couple things. There is no legal manner by which a president can declare martial law in this country. And just for future reference, it's spelled Martial. No hate to that commenter for the misspelling, because I think this question is asked in good faith. I think that when Donald Trump, the weekend of his little military parade, or maybe it was the weekend before, I can't remember. I think that when he deployed 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles and then deployed 2,000 more and then deployed 200 Marines, because there were protests going on. I think that started on Friday the 13th last month, when the ICE raids started at Home Depots in Los Angeles, and then protests started, which every MAGA chud who thinks that January 6th was an act of patriotism now describes protests as rioting and an insurrection, because they're stupid and they're gullible and they're very easily manipulated. And they've been taught and trained to fucking hate every single American who's not exactly like them. And they enjoy cruelty, and that's why I can't stand them and will never reunite with them in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, I digress. I think that Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth and Kristi Noem 100% believed that when Trump deployed National Guard troops on the ground in Los Angeles and then deployed military U.S. Marines on the ground, that there would be violence, that there would be a violent response to that and to them from protesters in Los Angeles, and it didn't happen. And I think Trump is probably still angry about that to this day. He wants violence in the streets of the United States. He wants civilians on the left getting violent with police, with sheriff deputies, with National Guardsmen, with U.S. Marines. Just think back to that weekend when it was announced that Trump was deploying 200 Marines. The number of MAGA douchebags that I saw making videos, just hoorah, yeah, the Marines are going, they're gonna go kick ass. And he sent 200 Marines into a city of 8 million people, over 500,000 of whom are registered gun owners. He sent 200 Marines. And these mouth-breathing, fart-huffing MAGA morons thought that 200 Marines were going to take over the entire city of Los Angeles with violence. The MAGA chuds that I saw on TikTok were frothing at the mouth at the idea of United States Marines shooting and killing American citizens because those American citizens disagree with Donald Trump and his supporters politically. I think that it is a tremendous source of frustration for Donald Trump that there hasn't been violent confrontations. That's what today in MacArthur Park in Los Angeles was all about. Donald Trump wanted there to be violence. Donald Trump wanted all of these troops to go into MacArthur Park because the people around him have said MacArthur Park has been taken over by MS-13. They run MacArthur Park. There are MS-13 members all over this 35-acre park. If we show up It's going to be an MS-13 convention, and there will be violence. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people from 9 different federal agencies and LAPD and LA Sheriff's Department showed up in armored vehicles in full military riot gear with guns, and nobody was there. There was no confrontation of any kind. They all basically just held a parade, marching from one end of the park to the other. They encountered no resistance. Nobody was arrested. There were no confrontations of any kind. There was no protesting. There was no violence. And I think that that is driving Donald Trump insane, and Stephen Miller. So, because they both want this desperately.